Everyone, it's Albert Torcaso, and this is November 24th, 2014, and we can even see that it's actually on the camera there, on the corner there, on your left-hand corner, it looks like. I want to let you know that in December, we most likely will not be having an episode. We hope to have an episode January 2015. However, due to renovations, it's possible we may not actually have an episode all the way up until February, but we will definitely have one in February. I'll be able to book one for sure. There's a special way of booking at times, and as a result, I may or may not be able to get us hooked up for December and January. So let me just say, since we don't know when we're going to be back, we will be back. So keep looking for Humanity Matters Live. But in the meantime, I want to say happy Thanksgiving, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, and of course, Merry Christmas, and also any other holidays that I am unaware of. And I want to say, believe it or not, Happy New Year 2015. And then I also want to point a couple of things out. This show is only one aspect of Humanity Matters, the media company that I actually have going. I have blog posts on humanitymatters.org. I just reached my 1,000th blog post. So you have 1,000 things to look at humanitymatters.org. I am also on youtube.com. We'll try to get to the complete website somewhere in this episode, but I have over 741 actual videos on YouTube. And then, of course, I do another show, which is a podcast, which is called Humanity Matters Live, right there at www.talkshoe.com. Now, that podcast you can do anytime. Viewers can call in from around the globe, and there are no time limits. And if for some reason you have something you want to promote and or advertise, you can actually do it through that show, as they have no limits. It is an audio podcast right there at www.talkshoe.com. What you want to look for is Humanity Matters Podcast. And so that's pretty much it. But I would say that if you're not looking at my online presence, you're actually missing 95% of the stuff that I produce. And there are so many imperative reasons for you to go to humanitymatters.org that I really cannot explain it at this time in this format. But I will say that you are missing a lot of very vitally important information. So you want to go to humanitymatters.org. I guarantee you that within the next month, there will be an additional 35 or more posts, bringing my total up to about 1,035 posts or more. So with that, I want to get down to the business at hand. Today we have a young lady for our third time, Miss Sara Sachs. She is a psychic medium, a Reiki practitioner, and has many traits, practices, and skill sets. I'm not exactly sure what they call them. And she helps to heal people in ways that one may not expect. And as a matter of fact, we're going to speak to Sara right now about Reiki to find out what it is, and with any luck, we're going to have ourselves a nice little demonstration. So welcome back to Humanity Matters, Sara.
Thank you for having me back.
You're welcome. And if you can explain what Reiki is, what it does, and why it feels so good, because it feels good when you have it done.
Okay, Reiki actually may be thousands of years old, but modern Reiki as we know it today was brought to us by the Japanese, by Dr. Usui, who was a Christian seminary teacher in Japan, I think in the late 1800s. and was asked about how Jesus healed the sick, and he kind of said, I'll get back to you, and took a very long trip through the Orient, and I think basically went to the Tibetan Buddhists and learned about the energy, which is, there are various symbols that you have done, and you get the energy initiated into you, and he developed this whole kind of like strata of the different levels, like the first one, which is the hands-on, the second where you do long distance through the symbols, and then the third is where you learn to become a teacher and give what they call the attunements, the initiation symbols for the person doing this. Now, it came to the United States by one of his teachers, Madame Takata, who brought it to the Hawaiian Islands in the 1930s, and it quickly spread to the mainland, and people in the United States were doing it, and it started to really pick up in popularity in about the 1940s, but there was a young lady from Pittsburgh who wrote some books about it, and she Diane Stein, and she kind of made it what it is today and brought it down to where it isn't so expensive to get the higher levels. And really, she was one of the, with other people, but that's the local interest, is that she, back in the 80s, that really started to take off. So I am a Reiki Master, which means I've had all 3 levels. Wow. And it's basically just working with the energy that is in the universe that's used to heal. And it's part of a whole different, there are different modalities, like you have spiritual healing, which they do with the spiritualist churches, which is a little different method, but you're basically tapping into the same energy. Okay. So if you'd like me to give, I'll give a little demonstration over here.
That'd be great.
And just for a couple of minutes here. And I know that you were at a spirit fair a few years back where you had it done. Now, I don't know if I'm as good as she was. I mean, she was, but she sort of, but this young lady made it her own, where I'll just be doing the more traditional thing. And the thing is that you have your hands cupped. You always ask the person if they have, if I have permission to touch you.
Yes, you do.
Okay. And then I might start off with the symbol, which is called Choku-rei, which is just to begin it. And then I hold the hands above. And then I might ask the person, is there any place that you want me to, any that needs a little bit more work than the others?
My shoulders.
Okay, that's good, because that was going to be the next. So I might do this for as long, just to get the energy flowing. And then, you know, we can work, we don't have to touch, we can work in the energy field too. Okay. And so usually what happens is that the way I was taught is you do this and that you can kind of work your way out. And now I have to ask you, do you feel the heat coming from my hands?
Yes, I do.
Because that's the one thing, when you get the attunement for the, even the first level, is you notice that for the rest of your life, your hands will be very warm.
Okay.
It's wild.
That's good in a cold area.
And then usually if you ever do the neck, you ask permission because people may have issues.
Right.
In fact, I was at a Reiki share with some other practitioners a few years ago, and one of the ladies said, please don't touch my neck. And then while I was working on her, my clairvoyant said, I know why she was hanged in a former life.
Wow.
So you have to be careful of past life traumas, that sort of thing. But then we work on the shoulders here. And
you can feel the heat.
I believe that.
This is neat.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. I know people that do it on their pets.
I believe. Well, we can use that on our pets.
You can use it, yeah. It's funny because my neighbor upstairs has some cats, and we have the credenza where we get our mail and everything.
Right.
And I swear those cats know when I'm coming home because they'll be stretched out on the credenza, waiting for me to give them a little treatment. And
my!
And cats know. I could just touch them very briefly, and they go, I'm good now. and up the stairs they go.
Well, cats
Then
are
I
pretty
might
smart.
just, finish off like this. But that's basically what it
Okay.
is.
That's awesome.
But it's, yeah, feel my hand.
Okay, it is warm.
Let me feel
Yes.
It's a good thing when it's cold outside. I'll be like,
Yeah.
hey, Sarah, where you at?
I wish it worked that way. But,
Yeah.
you can do it on yourself. Sometimes, like when I used to work
Yeah, well.
banquets and I'd feel my knees were sore, I'd love to put my hands on my knees because then you can do it with yourself, too.
Well, I haven't learned it yet, so I'll just have to call somebody up. Hey, I have some Reiki I need to get.
We know the woman from Taiwan who is very, very good.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it
You
when
did
I
well.
had that done.
Thanks.
I certainly enjoyed that when I had that done at the fair, and I will be getting some sessions through you and probably the young lady in the future if I can find her again. Sorry, I had to move the chair. But at this point, I'm going to turn, I want to ask you one more question about the Reiki.
Sure.
When people have really severe illnesses, maybe even terminal illnesses, is Reiki known to help in any way?
Okay, I'm glad you asked me that question because when I used to volunteer at Allegheny General doing that.
Right.
And what Reiki does, it's not, people get this misconception that it is a cure.
Mm-hmm.
Now I noticed that what happened is that sometimes people's blood pressure would drop and it
Right.
helps whatever the doctor is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we were taken into ICU and working on people that were terminal. And
Wow.
basically what it would take a miracle to, we don't
Right,
understand.
yeah.
But what it would happen is it's done also to help people make their transition
Okay.
to cross over to the other side.
Right.
Basically, it's because a lot, you probably feel a little bit more relaxed
Right.
from that, and it is kind of relaxing.
So it's a soothing kind of thing.
It's a soothing thing, and it is most people like me would be getting it like on their deathbed because it is
Okay.
it sort of helps the process
Right.
of crossing over. And I could tell, but I mean, some of these people were in such, we couldn't put our hands on them because they
Right.
had tubes running out of
Right.
them. But just to work on their energy field, I could just sort of feel their demeanor
Wow.
relaxing a little bit. And I know that the last few sessions they would get before they crossed over
Oh, that's good to
did
know.
help in that respect. So it's sort of like not a miracle thing like, oh, they get
Right.
up and dance out of ICU, but it helps them to make the transition.
Well, that's good.
basically. Yeah.
Well, I think the young man, Mike, has some questions for you. So we'll go with him, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go from Mike. He's going to pass it on to Kathy. And let's hear what Mike has to say, and I'll sit up.
Okay.
I'm honored to meet Mrs. Sachs here, and I can say that I was fortunate enough to have a Reiki session done on me, and I have to admit it does work. It definitely does work.
Oh,
but
yeah.
from what we understand, you just came back from a trip from New York, is that right?
Yes, I was in New York and I did 2 events. I worked with actually in Manhattan, I did a gallery reading, which is going to various members of the audience and giving them quick messages with 3 other very good mediums that I know from the summer place, a spiritualist place I go to in the summer, and they're some of the best in the area. So we had it at the Quest bookstore on East 53rd Street, which was really nice. And then one of them lives up in the Woodstock area of the Catskills. And so he and I did a little gallery last Thursday night and really brought through some messages. See, the whole thing with mediumship is it's another form of healing. Like when people know that their loved ones are doing okay on the other side, then they can we're just like the springboard for them to do the work. So we had a really lovely little gallery up in Woodstock, and I actually got a chance to maybe go to the city a little bit that
You
time.
mean the actual Woodstock City or New York City?
Well, I used to live in New York, but I walked around the city a little bit, and
Okay.
then that Woodstock area up in the Catskills is just gorgeous. Actually, the town is called Kingston, which is one of the bigger towns up
So
there.
you used
but
to live in New York City?
I lived in New York City, yeah.
What was that like?
I don't know how I did it.
Uh-oh.
I was exhausted. But no, it was, I benefited a lot from it, but then I just and I lived on the West Coast for a while, but then I got drawn back to my city of Pittsburgh and
How did
haven't
that
regretted. Actually, how that happened was I was just in for a visit in '98, and I was sitting down at the where the Three Rivers come together on a beautiful summer afternoon, and I had my camera, and Three Rivers Stadium was up, and this beautiful speedboat went by, and I just clicked it at the right moment while I was crossing Three Rivers, and then. Because see, like art and doing this is it's the same part of the brain. And I had this very intense feeling like I don't know why, I need to come back here. And within a year, I was like in the final stages. But I didn't know it at the time, but I was sitting in a huge vortex, spiritual vortex of where the Three Rivers come together. So that was kind of how I decided to come back.
My guess is there's some Native Americans
you
there, right?
did.
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Sachs, what do you consider yourself?
You mean as far as what
yes,
I do?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I consider myself as a spiritual psychic medium and a Reiki
And
practitioner.
how old were you when you got interested in this, Miss?
Well, I think I actually had the abilities my whole life, but sort of like didn't know about it for a while. But I would say it was like close to 11 years ago when I realized that everything kind of added up and that this was what I was meant to do.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's
very
cool.
nice.
And now you're going to go back to, I'm going to go over to Kathy.
Yeah, we'll pass it over to Kathy. Kathy Payer.
Hi. Well, you took my question.
But
Did
just
you-
think of it this way. We have a call if you want to
Yeah.
pass it to the caller.
Okay, well, what was okay.
But then you have to answer
I'll have
the
to think of
question when you come back.
All right, caller,
Or
come
pass it to the
on.
caller.
You're in.
Okay, this good old
She's-
Diane. Now I need to know this lady. What does she do, and where does she do it again?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, okay.
My name is Diane. I'm one of his sisters.
Okay. Well,
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and Happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Oh, well, happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving. Well, actually, I work in a lot of places. I do parties.
Well, how about name one place? And how was
Okay.
New York City when you went there?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's
Did
always
you see
fun.
the Twin Towers when you lived there?
Pardon me?
The Twin Towers, the one that fell down, the big.
No, I had been out of. No, I was living in Pittsburgh at the time that
Well,
happened.
explain more about this thing. Because I don't know whatever you said a Ritz or crap is. I don't know, and maybe maybe my brother knows, and maybe Annette knows, but I can't speak for the other two guests. And
Actually, what I do, I do readings 2 days. At the,
I've seen your demonstration. I watched your demonstration.
Oh.
Because I'm watching the show right now, because my brother always tells me about this show.
Oh, okay. So I'm 2 days a week at the Mookshee Wellness Center in the East End, which is a yoga studio. And I once or twice a month
You
I
need to
do
tell the
readings over
address, if you're allowed.
at Journeys of Life bookstore in Shadyside.
Journeys of Life
Bookstore, and then I do all kinds of parties, events, go to people's homes, you name it. I do that.
Then are you going to come to my brother's home too?
No.
I don't know.
Don't comment on that. Don't comment on that. All right. Any other questions, Diane?
No, I have a question for Michael here.
Uh-oh.
It's a different kind of a question.
Uh-oh.
Here you go, Michael. Where do you do your cooking at? I seen it on the beginning of this show. Where do you do your cooking? Do you have a restaurant also?
No, ma'am. I actually work for a place called the COG. It means Council of Government, and I just work part time. I work 4 or 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's all.
Well, how's your painting stuff coming?
I'm working on a painting. I just finished one
Do you
yesterday.
have a studio for the paint where the paint?
Yeah, I should have bought it for LSC.
She wants to
So
see
maybe you could
someone.
tell my brother where do you have your studio, and maybe my brother will take me. If it's not a lot of money, because he doesn't want to, he can't pay a lot of money.
Right.
Hey,
right,
hey,
right.
Diane.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, my apartment is the only thing that I have. I don't have any studio or anything like that. I have tons of artwork that
How
I've
come
been.
you don't bring any of your paintings no more?
Well, I should have bought one today, but you know what? I wanted to ask Mrs. Sachs: do you deal with like
Well, go
communicating
ahead, I know the
with
show is
dead?
about.
Yes,
I
that's
think
actually
painting,
what
so I'm
I.
not
That's
sure what
actually
it
what
is.
I do.
Wait, we're waiting until we get Diane on. All right, Diane, we're going to go move forward, okay?
All right, Al. love you. I hope you have a show indeed. The Penguins are on tonight. The
Oh, Diane,
Diane, we
you
don't
would
care
have
about
to
the
say
Penguins
that.
right
Boston.
All right,
Have
good
a
night,
nice
Diane.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Why did she do that thing with the
I don't know.
Penguins?
But I just
I
wanted
knew
to
she
know,
was
Miss.
going to say that.
I just wanted to know, Miss Sachs, are you known to like communicate with the dead people?
Well, that's
that
what
have
I mean.
passed
That's what a medium does. The medium is between the earthly level and the level of the other side. So, I will communicate with people on the other side, and I use evidence as to maybe how they passed away, what they like to do, personality quirks, appearance, various things that will, appear to me, and that's what I do.
This is obviously a power that you had since you were a child.
I
Miss,
like
maybe?
to think of it more as an ability.
Okay,
And I
okay.
know that one of the things that I picked up from John Edward, who I think is the best, is that he said he doesn't like to think of it as being gifted as much, because that makes you like more special than
Yes,
anybody
yes,
else, and you lose the humility,
Yes.
which is important for this work. But to say like it's an ability. It's like an ability, like you're a painter.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm a medium, but you and I are using the same sides of
Nice.
we're using the right side of our brain to do
Very
the
nice.
painting and the mediumship. So there's a spiritual element in what you do
Thank you. Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank
So and I think a lot of mediums are artists too. So
And us hosts are not too bad
But
ourselves.
but as a kid, did you have like
Sorry, I didn't do
premonitions and stuff like that as a child? Like,
yes, I did. I had, when I was, let's see, how old was I? I was 11 years old. A friend of mine in school died of leukemia.
Ooh.
And I had what I thought were dreams about her, but it's actually, I realized she came a little bit differently than dreams happen, which is hard, not the easiest thing to explain. But I realized that I was being visited by her spirit.
Okay.
And, in the end, she said, I have to go now. I see all of you kids are going to be okay.
Nice.
And, once in a while I might dream of her, but she really did visit me quite extensively
That's
right
cool.
after she crossed over. So that was my very strong sense of it. Then I don't know if I might have told the Gettysburg story of seeing spirit when I was on a school trip at
No,
Gettysburg.
didn't hear that.
Yeah,
But
oh.
we do have another call. So let's
Okay.
get this call, and then I want to hear about that. And then we're going to get into, well, first of all, we're going to have Kathy get her question.
I don't know.
Well, you better come up with one, or
I
we're
don't
going to
have
have the
one.
callers come through
Well, they call it
somehow
something.
magically, and you're going to be in trouble. But we're going to get to that Gettysburg. I definitely want to hear about that, and then I want to
gonna
ask
get to
you some
call
other
what?
questions about that. So do we have a caller?
Hello, this is Rose Schilling calling.
Oh, Rose
You hear
Schilling
me?
calling.
Can
Hello.
you guys hear me? Because I can't see the program.
We can hear you.
Okay, I heard you. Now, I heard you got a medium on.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask her a question?
Sure.
My question is to you. How do you know, or what is the signs that you know that you have this talent, or whatever you want to call it? Because I think that
Hello?
I might have some
Yeah.
psychic powers. I don't know if I do or not. That's what I was going to ask you. How would you know?
Okay, I think most everybody has psychic abilities, which is a little bit different from mediumship. Psychic abilities is having a feeling about something about that may be happening or may not be happening, where mediumship is speaking to someone on the other side. But I have a question to ask you. I'm really getting a strong feeling that I'm getting like an energy. When I hear your voice, I get like this energy coming through that makes me really feel strongly like it comes in on a brotherly energy, that it could be someone that was a brother, a cousin, or someone
My
who...
brother's the host of the show.
is that your sister?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Oh, okay, because
I'm the other sister.
I was actually somebody coming in from spirit that may have crossed over to the other side. Like, I feel like it could be a cousin or someone like that.
Well, we have cousins that passed away. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wow, I feel as though I'm getting a sense of, was someone in a car accident?
Our dad.
Oh, your father was in the car
Yeah, big
accident.
time,
He's
big
on
time.
the other side, because I've brought
Yeah,
him
big
through
time.
before, but I'm getting a sense of a younger man coming through, the cousin figure, would he be more on your father's side of the family? Because I feel as though
Yes,
someone died
yes,
of an
ma'am,
illness.
He's on my father's side.
On your mother's side of the
No,
family.
am I? Well, I have cousins on both sides, but on my father's side, maybe. I don't know what cousin you're
Okay, because I have to tell you, I'm getting a sense of someone having died of an illness, and I feel as though it was some, well, it went moved pretty fast, but it was something like cancer
Yeah,
or
we have
something.
one.
You have
His
a
name was
cousin.
Andrew, I think, that
and-
died of cancer.
And I have to ask you, did he have dark
Andrew
hair?
Torcaso died of cancer, leukemia.
Leukemia, that is a form of cancer.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I have to say that it moved pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it did.
That we're talking about, like, I'm going to say less than 2 years. And for some reason around him, your father, what is the significance about February?
My mom was born in February.
And is your mother still here?
Oh,
she's
she's
also
been gone.
She's also on the other side.
Oh, yeah, been gone.
And it's funny because I see her giving a disapproving look to both your father and that cousin Andrew. I don't know. They did some. They did them. I see their heads together. I don't know if they pulled a prank on her or something
They
like that.
probably
But
did.
she looks like she's not real happy. But then she's laughing. She's saying, "I can't help myself. I try to be mad at them, but then I can't help myself." So.
That sounds like our mom.
Right, and I have to ask you, do you know an Angie or an Angela could be in the living or someone that's crossed over?
Yeah, we know an angel.
Oh, her
That
name
is
is
a foot-
Angel, but she didn't cross over. I hope
No,
not.
she's still
okay,
living.
she is in the living. Who is she?
Our cousin. See who
Oh,
that
she's
is,
your
Angel?
cousin. Is she related to, I mean, how is she related to Andrew?
That's his sister.
Oh, okay, that's what he wanted to say. He wants to send love to his sister.
Wow.
So that's how I do it. I see them, I hear them, and I'm seeing that your mother's about ready to put on a great big pot. I know it's very Italian, a great big pot for pasta, and she's saying she still isn't telling anybody what that secret ingredient was for her sauce. that
My
everybody-
mom's putting on a big pot of pasta.
That's interesting. She didn't cook in life. Now she's cooking in heaven.
Well, that maybe she's making. Maybe
Wait
she's
a minute. That ain't right.
Oh, wait a second. Is her mother on the other side?
Oh,
Your
yeah.
mother. Okay, I
But
think
she didn't cook either.
She didn't cook. Was it
No.
your father's mother? Someone's
My
cooking.
father's mother did.
Was she a smaller lady?
She was real short.
Okay, because she had to put a little stool up by
Yeah,
the
she's
stove to
pretty
put
short.
to get everything into the pot.
I don't remember if she did a
So
stove, but she was short.
it seems like they're having a great
There you
big
go.
a big feast on the other side. But your
That
cousin
probably
Andrew
sounded about
wanted to
right.
send blessings to Angel. So,
So,
that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so like when you were saying about my mother, my mom didn't cook, but my grandmother and my grandmother on my father's side, and I think my mother helped her sometimes before I was even born. So that
Oh,
might
okay,
be,
because I
that
did
might
get a
be what's
lady.
going on.
Because I did get a lady coming in
Yeah,
cooking,
that
so it
could be
looks
that.
like she brought her into this. So that's what there's known as bleed throughs. You know, and people they bring
Okay.
in other people. So
Now, I got a
that's
crazy
basically.
question.
So does that answer your question?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
So now I have a question.
Okay.
So if they're cooking on the other side, okay, does that mean you can actually eat real food on the other side?
You can do whatever you want to on the
I
other
thought
side.
we were only like transparent spirits and we couldn't eat. I'm confused.
Well, they like to show us what they did when they were in the
Okay,
living,
so
but they
they-
also like
they
to
can
do. They
eat.
do it. Yes, sure. They can eat. They
Holy
can.
Moses.
Yep. So.
So I
they-
can get
they-
my fried chicken then.
Right. Yes. Yes. You can get your fried chicken.
I can get my fried chicken, Popeye's fried
Can I,
chicken.
can I share something with
Sure,
you, Mrs.
yes.
Sachs? Do you know a week before I quit smoking, I actually had a premonition that I was going to quit smoking. I don't know where that came from, but
See now this is very interesting. That is a difference between
calling,
psychic and mediumship. That's a perfect example of psychic. It's
Okay.
and we all have that ability. It's like when I was driving back from the Catskills, I knew I was going to spend the night, but all of it, yeah, it was raining, and I felt I saw these trucks crashed at the side of the road, and the traffic was moving slowly. Something said, next exit, get off, and go to which is what I did. And then I turned on the 11 o'clock news near Penn State
Okay.
to see that the road I had been on, I would have been stuck there or in an
I just got
accident.
chills.
So
Wow.
you do, it's like, but everybody has this. It's like if that little voice tells you to get off the road and spend $60 or $65 for a hotel, go.
You
and
better
do
go
it.
get
Go
it.
do
Yeah,
it.
nice.
I was the first one there, but later I noticed there was not an empty spot in that
I believe
park.
it.
Yeah, that's so
So-
you follow your instinct. But the Gettysburg thing, I never did.
Well, before we get to the
Okay.
Gettysburg thing, I want to get to the Gettysburg thing, and then we need to talk about McGee Women's Hospital and that weird situation.
Oh, that
but
was-
first the
yes,
Gettysburg.
yes.
All right,
Okay.
because I'm all up
This
into
was
the
like,
Gettysburg.
okay, so I had the experience
Oh,
with
wait,
the.
wait, time out one sec. And just, how did you know, after we're done, we're going to make Kathy go.
I heard
Oh, okay. At any rate, so this was about a year after a friend of mine who passed away. No, it was, I think, it was not too long after that when we did the class trip at Gettysburg. And of course, I revealed my age because we got up in that tower that no one's been able to do that for like a zillion years.
Okay.
And so we got up there, and I knew a little bit about it. I was like 12 or something. And so we got up there and looking at all the battlefield that, but the thought that came into my mind was all that carnage, and which is not a 12-year-old kid's word. And all of a sudden I saw smoke clearing, I could smell it, I saw the bodies and like the spirits of those. It was very quick, and then
Right.
it went away. So guess what? I didn't tell anybody about
bet you
that.
didn't.
I did not tell anybody, but that was a major, and that's what's known as clairvoyance.
How did
Okay.
you-
That's
How did
clairvoyance.
you deal with this, Miss? Like seeing these images, did they scare you and stuff like that?
No, I
seeing
thought
them?
like, oh, that's interesting. That must be what they call my imagination, but I think I'll keep that one to myself. You know? Basically, yes.
I love it. So let me ask you a question, though. Now, let's say we go to Gettysburg and we see a whole bunch of ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call it. On the one hand, I think it's cool, and I would like to see it. But on the other hand, I wonder, why can't we get these spirits that are hanging around for hundreds or even thousands of years? Why can't they get into the light? What do you think the problem is? Because that
That's
seems
what's
like a
known
long
as
time.
earthbound spirits, and so many of my colleagues have many different opinions about that.
Okay.
I personally think it's rare, but then my feelings about that could
Right.
change. But that's actually, it manifests itself in a couple of ways. It's like
Okay.
they don't know they're dead.
Right.
One thing, they haven't crossed into the light, and often when that happens, it can be from a traumatic death. But although I don't think everybody that was murdered is earthbound, but that's an example of how that can happen.
Right.
And that's what the show Ghost Whisperer was all about.
Okay.
People that could not, that's the only spirits she could see. And I met I'm embarrassed to say, I forget the author of the book that show was
Okay.
based on, has said that she's not a medium, that those are the only spirits she sees, are those
Okay.
that haven't crossed over to the other side.
Okay.
And I think it's kind of rare, but then I'm still learning, so I may, I'm not real
So
stubborn
we
about
can't ever
holding.
get rid of them?
Well,
I
no,
mean,
they
get them to
can.
go
There
into
are
heaven?
people that can tell them you need to go cross into
Okay.
the light, and they do. They do, and sometimes it's like Sylvia Brown used to say, it's just as easy to say like, you're dead, go into the light. You want to see your husband again, he's over there into the light. And that usually does it. It doesn't have to be any big complicated
But can a
thing.
non-psychic, non-medium say anything?
I think, yes, she used to tell, and I've told clients, if you think that they're, I mean, a lot of times when people hear bump in the night
Yeah.
things, it's like this, they're on the other side, but sometimes if they were like, as we say here, nebby in the
Oh, I
light,
see.
that they have to, so I've had them come in where they check to make sure that it's dusted and
Oh, my
stuff.
goodness.
That they'll pop in and they'll pop out. But
jeez.
you can just tell them like, you know what, I need to sleep, so scram.
Oh,
Whether
wow.
they need to just go away or sometimes go in. But Sylvia Brown used to say, you're dead, go into the light. You know that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
that
all. And
voice.
she would tell the clients to do that and follow up. They said, yeah, that was it. We didn't hear from them anymore.
Wow.
So You don't need any fans. Burn a little white sage or something like that, but it's not a big deal.
Well, that's good.
Like I have something I want to share, but like we're going to go to Kathy.
No, go ahead, share it, and then we'll get to
Okay,
Kathy.
well,
'Cause
well,
Kathy's trying to stall anyway, so
Okay,
we'll
well,
get to
well,
Kathy.
I don't know
after.
what to say.
Well, to make a long story short, I moved into my apartment a good 5 years ago, Miss, and there were things happening in my apartment that I could not explain. It got to the point where I had a minister come to my home and pray over my home, and like I'll say since then, like I've slept every night, but.
And say if that works, then that's fine. Whatever works is
And
fine.
it was like things that were happening, Miss. If I sat here and told you what was going on in my apartment, nobody would believe me.
All right, tell us
Believe
one
me,
thing.
I would believe you.
Share one thing
The
with us.
very last thing that happened, and I swear this on my mother's life, I was on my way out to work.
Okay.
And I'll never forget it. The lock on my door, I swear to you people,
Go ahead.
the lock on my door turned, L. I swear
Okay.
to you, L. And I was never so scared in my life. But
know, that's right.
I was coming home from work every day, and it was like I'm finding fingerprints on my wall. Like they would only be so far up though, and it was like, and then I had friends come into my house, and things were happening like cupboard doors, and my one friend was sitting in my living room, and I swear to you, L, my clock like literally fell off the window.
No.
I have to ask you that lock. I'm not looking at a deadlock, but was it one of those old-fashioned little
ma'am.
twisty,
Yes, ma'am.
like,
Yes,
like the
ma'am.
little two little?
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
just
Yes,
seeing. I
ma'am.
was just
Yes,
seeing
ma'am.
that
That's just what
turn.
it was, Miss.
Yeah.
That's just what it was. Yeah.
That's creepy.
And it like it got to the point where I wasn't sleeping, and it was like I'll have to say I was scared because I didn't know what I was dealing with, Miss. I did not know what I was dealing with, and anyhow, like I said, I had a minister come to my house, and like whatever he did something good because it's but like that was a story.
You know, whatever it takes and whatever works. I have to ask you something. I keep hearing deacon. Who is a deacon?
Pastor Keith.
Is that the deacon? Is he in spirit?
Yeah.
No, he's still living.
No, he's alive.
He's alive.
He's
Is there
alive.
a deacon that passed away?
Yeah, Reverend Bose was his name. He was my grandfather's best friend.
Oh, okay. Was he a
Oh, my
short and
God.
just kind of stature guy?
Yeah, oh my
Oh,
God.
good. Because
Oh,
he's
my
coming in to
God.
say, like, they did a good job, so don't worry.
Oh my
They
God,
did,
I can't believe that.
And he's
Oh,
saying
my
he's
God.
glad to see you're in church more
Yeah,
often
oh,
now.
my
And he said, well,
God.
what did you do to your hair?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I
That's
told you we gotta cut
crazy.
that hair down.
That's crazy. I can't believe that. That was my grandfather's best friend. He just passed away, Miss.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, I
Okay.
can't believe that.
Oh,
And you know, it's funny because he just showed me a couple of white roses. I don't know
Oh
if
my God.
did they have some white roses.
My
at his-
grandmother used to love roses.
Oh,
My
okay, so
grandma.
that's it, that's
My
it. So
I
he's-
can't believe that. Oh my God.
Okay, well, he
my
sends you
God.
love and blessings from
Oh
the
my
other
God,
side.
thank
Yes,
you,
and he's
man.
saying he's okay.
Wow.
I'm feeling real heavy in my chest. Was there some breathing problem
Well,
with him?
he actually was in a car wreck in the steering wheel.
Oh, did it go into his
Yeah, it
chest?
killed
Okay,
him.
because
It
that's
ki-
why I
yeah.
was feeling like,
Yes.
I want to go
and
like
he was
I want to
a
go
very
like
short
this.
man too. How you knew that, I don't know. That's
'Cause
wow.
he came
wow,
up right. He
miss.
came up
wow.
right. He came up right
I'm
behind
going to
you.
interrupt you for a minute.
That's
I got to say
awesome.
something.
Okay.
Okay, I want to do a timeout for a minute. I got to do a timeout.
Sorry, I can't help myself.
No, I got to do a timeout. This is important. I want to say something. Now, you heard what the young lady just said to Mike. Well, what's interesting is a lot of people like James Randi and all these yahoos, and I don't mean the search engine, they like to say, well, you had pre-interviews and all that stuff. I can tell you, I was in the
Never
waiting
met him.
room, and not one person spoke about anything that just happened here. So what I'm saying to you is what just happened between Sarah and Mike is 100% genuine, and it just shows you that James Randi and all these debunkers are so full of hot water that they can get scalded like a lobster.
And I never met Mike
That's what I'm saying.
before.
That's-
She
that's
never
what
met
I'm-
him,
that's-
and they
that's-
didn't even talk
And I
about this
can't
stuff.
believe that because Reverend Bose was a deacon at a church.
There
I
you
can't
go.
believe it, El. And he was actually killed, like coming back from,
There you
I
go.
believe, West Virginia or
And she knew
something
about
like
the
that.
pain in the chest.
And that's what killed him was the steering wheel. Like, oh my God, wait till I tell my mother this. That's crazy.
Well, I think what's interesting to me about that whole thing you just did,
Wow.
and I didn't mean to stop you, but
No, that's okay.
the audience needed to know how genuine that was.
I got chills.
They had to know how
yeah.
genuine that was. Okay, but what I'm saying is that right there shows you're for real. So, being that you're for real, I got a question for you. We got Kathy on the far end here. And I don't know how this works. People come through, people don't. Do you see anybody like around Kathy, or are you picking up anything with Kathy? Or are we kind of like free here?
Well, actually, in looking at Kathy, I was looking at a.
'Cause I'm
Like
just
I was
wondering.
looking at sometimes I see people in photographs. I was looking at a
Right.
lady in an oval frame, and she had, like, you know how your hair is kind of wavy in front, and she's got a round face, but I'm seeing her dress. I don't even know if you knew her, but she's dressed in kind of like old-fashioned clothes, I have to say, from
Okay.
like the early 20th century, and I feel like she may be grandmother, great-grandmother, actually.
She might be.
don't know.
Kathy don't know.
And she doesn't know.
But she's
She-
chilling by you.
Right. But it was funny because I was seeing like a lady that looked so much that you look so in a photograph, in a very old photograph.
Wow.
And I don't know if this was ever in anybody's house,
Wow.
but I have to ask you if someone's telling me about a Flo or Florence or somebody like that.
Okay.
That it could be someone in the living. that
That's
they-
my grandmother's
Oh, that's
name.
your grandmother.
That's my
Oh, okay,
grandmother's
sorry.
name.
I'm
Oh,
still on
God.
him. I'm
That's
still
my
on. I'm
grandma's
still on.
name.
I'm
Is
still
Grandma
on
still
him.
living?
No.
Grandma's up
Okay.
there?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Grandma came over too.
And
Right.
Deacon-
You got two
I
for
think
one.
I think I'm so clued into his energy
you
that
go.
And
got
Deacon
two for
Bose,
one.
and Deacon Bose just passed away like not even 2 years ago. That
Wow.
was my grandfather's best friend.
So now you got Flo
and your
the
grandfather's
Deacon.
on the other side
Yes,
too.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
You know, it's so
goodness.
funny because I just opened up a checkers
funny.
board and they started playing checkers.
Oh my God.
I can't get off of him, but
There you go.
Oh my God. Oh my
That's
God.
funny. I'm just glad my dad
Oh,
ain't
my
around
God.
again. I'm good.
Dude, my
all
grandfather used
good.
to love to play checkers.
There
I
you
can't
go.
believe this. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
well,
I don't know if it's because you're a little far away
Oh,
from me,
man.
but I have to ask you,
That's funny.
has your father passed away?
Yeah.
Okay, because I am seeing some of him in you. You know what I mean? Is there any resemblance you have with your father?
Not that I know
uh-oh.
Was he? Because I keep getting somebody with the big cheeks that you have and that chin of yours.
of. No.
I feel as though it may. Did you ever know his mother?
Yeah.
Is there that? Because I keep getting
No,
this.
me and his mom never got along.
That's okay, but I'm getting a female that had a strong family resemblance to
My
you.
mom?
Your mother, you look like your mother.
Yeah, I
Is she
look like
over
my
on the
mom.
other
Yeah.
side too? But I think your father's saying, well, you might not have the face entirely, but he's saying the nose. Something about the nose.
I might have his nose.
He's
I'm not
saying that
sure.
you got my nose, but you got the best parts of your mother. So,
Okay.
Oh my God.
and
Kinda good.
I have a question for
Sure.
Sarah. How do
Uh-oh.
they have checkers on the other side? And
they have them.
They have
That's what
everything.
they show them. I see them. That's what they show them to say. We used to play checkers, and that's further proof that that's who you're talking about.
I
I
just
see.
got chills. Like
Uh-oh,
I
you got
can't
chills.
believe this because I would spend all my days at my grandparents' house, and if I wasn't on the floor drawing and painting a picture, then
Okay.
I was sitting at the coffee table playing checkers with my grandfather.
Ain't
I
that
can't
something?
believe that, L. I can't believe this.
Well, believe it, it happened. It happened. So let's get back to something a
Okay,
little bit off.
okay.
Now, I told you, it was about 2 months ago, I felt like I was a nut or something because I was in
That's a
McGee
very
Women's
good
Hospital.
Right.
And I swear to you, ladies and gentlemen, this really happened. I'm in McGee Women's Hospital because I had an appointment there. Yes, they actually have men go to that hospital. For all you all didn't know that. There are men that go to McGee Women's Hospital now. Long story. So I'm getting ready to get into the elevator. And I look, and you know, when you get in an elevator, you're getting ready to get in there, you ain't really paying much attention. But I saw this guy dressed like a Civil War soldier. And I'm thinking, that don't make any dang sense. Dang on the word, I was thinking, why is there a man dressed as a Civil War soldier in McGee Women's Hospital? And why is the guard in them not saying, why are you dressed like a Civil War soldier? So I did a double take, I swear, like in the old movies. And I couldn't find him. And then all I saw was 3 short women. But I saw a Civil War soldier. So I thought, okay,
Did he
I guess I
did he
just saw a ghost.
did he kind of go away pretty quickly?
It was like I saw him. He was getting ready to get on the elevator, and I'm thinking, what in the bloody blazes is going on? And I looked back, and he was gone. And then I looked around. So then I called you after a little while that same day, and you told me about something that actually is verifiable. There's been a whole lot of Civil War soldiers that were here during the Civil War.
I told him over the phone
That was something.
that whole area of Oakland from Pitt to CMU and beyond were big training camps for Civil War soldiers. They didn't last long. They trained a bunch of them. They mustered them out.
Right.
And but there were a lot of them. In fact, a friend of mine from the spiritualist church did some, seance, physical mediumship stuff at the Friends Meeting House, in Oakland. It's real near Pitt. And we were, sitting with a candle and the spirit trumpets and everything. And I said, wow, I just saw a Civil War soldier a Union soldier coming through. But I thought, you know what, that's not so unusual because there is so many of them here. So they're all over the place.
Yeah,
so that
I
wasn't
found that
very,
out.
it's not, I said, my God, you were in the midst of what the big camp they had.
It was just
them.
so weird though, because it was like he looked 100% real. And I thought, okay, was this guy a reenactor and he had to bring his wife or girlfriend or child or something, as an emergency? I couldn't figure it out. So I looked back and everybody was, it was like 3 or 4 women. They had to be about 5 feet something. I'm thinking, okay, I'm not on drugs, so what's going on? And matter of fact, I got this book, which was called Pittsburgh During the American Civil War, 1860 to 1865, I believe. And turned out there's a lot of camps. Turned out that we had the largest arsenal, one of the largest arsenals for the entire Civil War.
Yep,
so there was
over
a ton of
the
Civil Wars around.
Allegheny
a ton of Civil War
Arsenal.
soldiers. So,
Allegheny Arsenal, where there was a terrible
that's just
accident.
Crazy though.
I tell you what, Mrs. Sachs, before I talked to you, I was a little skeptic. But
Really?
I don't know how you know this. I don't know how you know what you just told me, but I can't believe it. Because Deacon Bose just passed away not even 2 years ago.
There you go.
Oh, he's with you all the time. He says,
am
I'm
I-
looking at, he
am-
says, you think I'm not still looking out after you? I am.
So do you think that the Deacon helped him to get his kitty cat maybe?
Maybe,
Dude,
I think he said.
oh my God, I don't want to cry.
Did he like cats?
Yes,
Because I'm
yes,
seeing him with there were like
yes,
a bunch of cats
yes,
around.
Deacon Bose, yes he did.
He did.
Yes,
And
yes,
there's
yes, he
one in
did. Yes, he
particular,
did.
I'm seeing
Yes,
him with
he
this
did.
little black and white kitty that he really.
The cat that his sister took. That
Oh,
was
okay,
yeah,
that was
because-
a black and
yeah,
white
yes,
kitty,
Yes,
yeah.
I can't believe this, Mrs. Sachs. I can't believe you just sat here and told me that. Dude, my
Well, he
grandfather
did.
loved playing checkers.
There you
hear
go.
me? He loved playing checkers.
I know.
And I'll tell you what,
oh my
what's nice
God.
about the pets is that we have all our beloved pets that
Oh,
die
yeah.
when we're
Yeah.
they die before we do. They're there to help us to cross over
That's
to the
cool.
other
Wow.
side.
That's
They
cool.
come through the tunnel of light with the cats, dogs.
go.
I've even got a turtle once. That
That's
was
cool.
pretty
But
funny.
like,
but-
does seeing these spirits ever scare you? I mean,
No, I love. See, that's the whole thing that my two excellent mediumship teachers, especially the one that taught me about giving the detail, Janet Nahavoc, who said, "You've got to remember, like, I love the people in the spirit world, and they love me, and
There you
that's
go.
why I'm able to bring them through.
That's
It's like
cool.
because it's the love that never dies. It's
That's
the love
cool.
that never dies. The
Well, you
love
know what? We
Did
only
you
have
ever
about
deal
5
with
minutes.
demons?
Diane,
Nah, we don't. Nah, I don't believe in that.
let me get
Okay.
Kathy in here. So remember, we got to get Kathy in.
Right.
So, Kathy, your turn.
When you were younger, did it ever bother you knowing that you had that special?
Well, I didn't know it was anything special. It was sort of like I had my little imaginary friends.
That you
it
thought?
was, my parents said, "Oh, she has her little imaginary
okay.
friend." So it really, it really didn't bother me because I thought, like, doesn't everybody have their little imaginary
Right.
friends? So
Yeah.
So let me ask you this now. What is the longest time a spirit ever stayed with you?
oh, you mean as far as when I give a reading?
Either when you give a reading, or maybe they came in and decided to become
Okay,
an uninvited
Okay, I don't.
guest or
Yeah,
whatever.
they usually. when I give a reading, you know, my vibration goes up, theirs comes down to meet in the middle, and I'll give you the John Edward answers. I could give a reading, and then eventually, you know, we run out of steam. So the
Right.
people on that vibration, they run out of steam a little bit. And you all, if you've ever watched him on his TV show, he'll say, I feel their energy withdrawing. So they don't stick around very long.
Okay.
They don't. It's the duration of the reading. I fade back, they fade. It's kind of like
But they go
they're
back
like
to
the
heaven
best
or
house.
wherever they're going.
Yeah,
Or
they
wherever,
have.
other
It's sort of
side.
like they're the best house guests because they know when it's time to go.
Interesting.
Basically, yeah.
Did they ever get you angry?
Oh yes, this one
we
woman.
got about 5 minutes.
Right,
So tell us
like-
about the anger.
Okay, this
I got to hear this.
I gave a reading last April to a woman whose mother was on the other side. The
Okay.
woman was very manipulative in life, and she was still manipulating her daughter from the other side.
Ooh.
And I was having a little tough time. I said, I know what's going on. I said, your mother's still doing it.
Oh.
And your father's just told me that your mother's still doing that. So I'm saying, like, I said, lady, you need to stop that. You know, I'm
Wow.
wise to you. That kind of thing.
Wow.
So I realized that they, you know, they work on their stuff over there like we work on our stuff, but they
Wow.
don't become perfect all of a sudden. And the girl's father said, you know what, she's working on it, but she's not there yet, so you'll
Wow.
have to excuse her. So it's like they're like
And
that too.
Real quick
yeah.
question. You may not know the answer to this. I don't know. We're told that once we go on the other side, we're there forever. In some tones, not tones, but some people think that we're there in heaven or paradise forever. Others think we're reincarnated. Others think it's a choice. So what's your take on all that?
Spiritualists are divided by this. I believe we do come back.
Okay.
But to finish this off, there's one of the guys at the spiritualist community of Lilydale, when he gives a talk, he's saying, back in the 1880s, when Lilydale got started, the spiritualists were arguing about whether there was reincarnation or not. And he said, guess what? I walked by them the other day, and they're still arguing about it.
They're still there.
Oh, wow.
So, but also, do you think that when we get to paradise or wherever it is you want to call it,
Whatever
do
you
you
wanna
have
call
a
it.
choice? Do you have a choice to either be reincarnated or stay? Do you think?
Yeah, we do make a choice.
So we can make a
It's all
choice.
about making choices. Now, the thing is the timing
Okay.
as to when you come back or not.
Meaning
and
what?
Sometimes people are a little bit hasty and they think they can come back, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not their time, and that's where you get the miscarriages and that sort of thing. And then sometimes they come back, they go in life, and things don't work out well, and then
okay.
they learn we won't do that again the
Well,
next time.
anyway,
Sarah.
we're down to our last couple of minutes.
When I was 5 years old and I was drowning,
We
and
only
my
have a
Aunt
couple
Ann
minutes.
saved me, and I saw heaven, do you believe I saw heaven?
Yes, I think you did see
A
the other
5-year-old
side.
can't describe.
You saw the
You
other
may not
side.
be have able to have been processing it, but when you told me that, I'm sure you had a view of the other side. And guess what? I bet you're not that afraid of death anymore, are
No,
you? That's what
not
happened. Yeah,
really.
then you did see it. 'Cause
Okay.
people lose their fear of
Well,
death for the near-death experience.
That's cool.
I
Well,
can't wait to
before
call
we
them
go, I would like you to tell us your Facebook or whatever website you have out there for the people, because I have a feeling you're going to get people who want to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
So we
My
only have
Facebook
2 minutes, so
is,
let's get that out
if
there.
you Google Sara Sachs, S-A-C-H-S, Psychic Medium Pittsburgh, you'll get my Facebook page, and you'll also get my website, because I
So
come
we'll
up
be all
right
good.
away on Google. See if Sara Sachs, Psychic
Okay.
Pittsburgh, boom, you'll get it all. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that there's going to be a few people who want to definitely talk to you. And then I would like you to, if you can, to tell all your people about being on this show again.
I will. I'll put it on Facebook tonight.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, we'll get this together as soon as we can, but we only have a minute left. So everybody say good night to the people.
Good night,
Good
people.
night.
Hi,
Pittsburgh.
happy
Good night,
Thanksgiving.
audience.
Happy Thanksgiving,
And remember,
everybody.
everybody-
And Happy New Year.
Okay, and one
All
more
right,
thing.
Happy New Year.
Remember that you and humanity and all forms of life really does matter.